Hello, Elevate Church. My name is Andy Miller, and I'm a former youth pastor and current youth development practitioner here in the DC area. And wanted to talk to you today in light of Father's Day coming up um, about my experience as a father, but more importantly, my experience as being a son of God the Father. As I said, with my experience as a father, I'm not your most conventional father. I'm actually a foster dad, and I don't have any biological children of my own, but I do claim to have raised and helped raise 4 beautiful children thus far, but none of them live with me. They're either living with parents, biological relatives, some are in residential treatment. I'm currently fostering one 13-month-old right now. So Father's Day has been a little bit different for me. Some Father's Days have been excellent. Some Father's Days have been times of celebration, of rejoicing. Some Father's Days have been more sad when I'm forced to remember that there are no biological children living here, or I'm forced to remember and reflect on the trauma that some of our youth have experienced that are living in our home. Father's Day is always it comes with some mixed feelings. Same with Mother's Day. For a lot of us, I'm sure. Some of us might not have the best memories of our fathers. Some of us might not have our fathers around anymore to go to. And I completely empathize with all of that. I understand that these holidays can be painful for you, and I want to validate that and empathize with that. Today, I want to encourage you and reassure you of the picture that is painted in Scripture of God as Father. And there's also pictures of God painted as Mother in Scripture, and I want to validate that as well, of God gathering her chicks as a mother hen gathers her chicks, gathers her people. So I would definitely want to validate that, as there are many mothers out there who've had to do double duty for Mother's Day and Father's Day. But I want to point to one passage in Scripture that really encourages me when it comes to God being Father, and that's in Luke 15. And I'm sure a lot of us have heard this story before, but there was a father who had 2 sons, and one son decided to go to his father and basically say, "Father, I want all of my inheritance right now," which is essence in that culture saying, "Father, I wish you were dead so that I could have what's promised to me. I don't want you to live out the rest of your life. I want it now." So he takes his inheritance and spends it wildly. The father doesn't resist. The father lets him have it. Son squanders the inheritance on debauchery and just gets himself into a big mess with his inheritance, and realizes how bad he has it, realizes how good he had it with his father. So he decides to go back. And mind you, this is not to please the father. This is a selfish reason that the son is trying to go back, because he realizes he doesn't have all he had with his father. So he's rehearsing his speech on his way home. He's like, "Okay, Father, if I could say, like, if I could say I've sinned against heaven and against you, maybe he'll take me back." And then the Scripture says in Luke, it says, while he was a long way off, the father saw him. The father was waiting on his porch for his child. While he was a long way off, the father ran to him. He ran to him. He didn't wait till he got to the porch, but he ran to him when he saw him for the first time. And I want us to see that image. I want us to see the image of this loving father running to his son and picking him up in his arms, not even allowing him to come up with the rehearsed speech that he had, but picks him up, kisses him, embraces him, and brings him home. And that's the image of God the Father. And there's a lot of people, places, even church settings that will have you believe that God demands more of you, for you to be part of his family? It's not true. When the son returns home, the father throws a party. But at that party, the oldest son, who's been there the whole time, who didn't run away, who didn't squander his inheritance, goes to the father and says, "What are you doing? You're throwing this party. This son spent everything you've had, but yet you're killing the calf for him, and you're throwing this huge feast. I've been with you the whole time. I've never even gotten anything." And the father says to him, "You've always been with me, and everything I have is yours. But there is need to celebrate because your son was gone, and he's back. He was dead, and is now alive again." In other words, there is nothing that either of those two sons had to do to earn their father's love. They have been at the party, they've been invited to the party the whole time. They've been part of the family the whole time. And if you look at this passage of Scripture, it's right after two other sections of Scripture where God is painted as somebody who's seeking out a lost sheep, someone who is finding a lost treasured coin. That's God as Father, seeking you out, stopping at nothing till he finds you. Will never force you, will never coerce you, but is always seeking you out because you've always been part of his family. There is nothing you need to do to make that happen. You've always been part of his family. So grace and peace to you this Father's Day, and may you rest in the knowledge that you are God's beloved child.